Good afternoon and welcome back to TMNtv News. I'm Liz Steck and the date is November 28th, 2022. We hope you all had a good fall break and are ready to start preparing for finals. Here's what happened while we were away. The 22nd FIFA World Cup began last Sunday in Qatar. This year's competition attention has not only been on the matches, but also on the controversy surrounding the location. The Guardian claims that since the country's bid back in 2010, 6,500 migrant workers spanning from 5 different countries have died in relation to construction of the stadiums. It's reported that the workers were living in squalid conditions, made to work extremely long hours in the heat, and had wages and passports withheld. Though the Qatar government has introduced a number of labor reforms in the past few years, they have still minimized the numbers of death and injuries of their workers. Qatar has also faced backlash from its treatment of LGBTQ people. The Human Rights Watch said they've documented numerous cases of repeated beatings and sexual harassments from security forces against Qataris solely based on gender expression. The Qatar government has said in reference to the World Cup that there would be no conflict and, quote, everybody is welcome into their country. However, when 7 European countries plan to wear anti-discrimination bans during the games, plans quickly changed when FIFA raised the threat of yellow carding the teams, which would keep players out of the game. In other news, out of the World Cup is the protest of Iranian government killing its citizens. Footballers from Iran were seen protesting the government by not singing the Iranian national anthem. Not only have the players been protesting, but the U.S. national team also posted a graphic of the Group B standings with the Iranian flag without the emblem of Iran on the flag. With tensions rising, the game set for tomorrow will be worth watching more than just implications on the game. In national news, the pause on student loan payment has once again been extended, this time until summer of 2023. The extension came after a federal judge in Texas declared Biden's administration's student loan forgiveness plan unlawful. Applications for the REEF program had already opened up, and according to CBS News, 16 million applicants have received letters stating their approval. These letters also included information about the legal barriers the program is facing. In the letter, Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona said, "Your application is complete and approved, and we will discharge your approved debt if and when we prevail in court." President Biden addressed the situation on Twitter, saying he is confident the plan is legal, and they are asking the Supreme Court to give a ruling on it. According to Biden, the payment pause extension will give the court time to hear the case, and then payments will resume 60 days after the pause ends on June 30th. As we mentioned in our last show, the Kansas State Board of Education is now recommending that all Native American mascots be changed within 5 years. Here in Hayes, USC 49 has gathered input from students, faculty, and community members on the issue. The district recently held a meeting to discuss the results of a survey, which was used to help determine whether or not the Hayes High Indians should rebrand. Here's what Superintendent Ron Wilson had to say before the meeting.
You know, I don't want this to ever become a divisive issue. I know people fall on both sides of the line on things like this, but really it's an opportunity to pull together and understand exactly who we are. Our goal is really to do this the right way, and I feel like we have done everything to this point the right way, and I think we'll continue to do that.
Participants who filled out the survey answered questions like what does it mean to be an Indian, and how they would describe the culture of Hayes High, and what traditions they are most proud of. Responses to each question were discussed throughout the meeting. Afterwards, Wilson was optimistic, saying that he feels no matter what side of the issue people are on, they'll be able to work together to make a decision. The next step for the district will be to create a committee who will further discuss the possible rebranding. The weather this week is mostly cloudy with temperatures in the mid-40s and 50 degrees. Tuesday will be the coldest day of the week with a high of only 34 degrees and a low of 12 degrees. Friday will be the warmest day of the week with a high of 70 degrees. That momentum is not carried through the weekend, though, with Saturday reaching only 43 degrees and Sunday coming in with a high of 53. To stay up to date with this forecast as it changes, visit kwch.com. After this short break, we'll have sports with Caden Sanders.
transfer to Fort Hays State University, you discover unmatched affordability, convenience, and powerfully supportive faculty and staff, all with a determination that matches yours. Complete your degree and leap forward in your life and career with Fort Hays State University Online. The best value in education anywhere.
Teachers today are finding new ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back, I'm Caden Sanders. There have been many sporting events for Fort Hays State during our break here for the newscast. We will catch up with all sporting events that have happened in the past few weeks, and we will look ahead for Fort Hays State. The men's basketball team finished their non-conference schedule this past weekend with their conclusion of their non-conference schedule. Up to this point, the Tigers have controlled their opponents with a 5-1 record. Their only loss? To the Southwestern Oklahoma State Bulldogs, who made it to the NCAA tournament just 1 year ago. The Tigers' offense has seen its ups and downs early in the season, while in their non-conference schedule, the Tigers have seen 2 games with 90-plus points and 2 nail-biters. I had a chance to talk to Coach Mark Johnson this past week. His coaching staff will look at who fits the roster the most and gives the team a spark coming off the bench with conference play starting later this week. Guys like Hagen Hilgendorf, Gilbert Peters, Trajan Davis, and Jaheim Holden will be coming off the bench early in the Tiger season to solidify their spots this week before the game on Thursday. For the other basketball program, the women's basketball team has also seen its issues this season. The Tigers have competed against a stiff non-conference season so far. Their non-conference schedule was stacked with 4 teams that have made it to the NCAA tournament just 1 year ago. Their record in those games was 1-3, with 2 of those losses coming down to 3 points or less. Their final tune-up with a non-conference opponent in Tabor College found the team playing closer than the team would have liked. For Tony Hobson's team, he wants to keep working on their offense as the Tigers have had trouble with their shooting performances throughout their first 8 games of the season. The men's and women's team will be back at Gross Memorial Coliseum to start the MIAA conference with Northeastern State and Rogers State on Thursday and Saturday. Not only having a game on Thursday for Fort Hays State, but Thursday is also a historic day for Fort Hays State, as Gross Memorial will officially have seen 50 years of basketball, as the teams have fared well in Gross during that time. The men's program has won 646 of the 770 games played inside of the Coliseum, good for a staggering 83.9 win percentage during that time. The women's program has seen similar successes with a record of 549 wins and 134 losses at home over the past 50 seasons. Good for winning percentage of 80.3%. The wrestling team has competed in 1 dual and 3 tournaments, traveling to Baker University, Dakota Wesleyan, and rival Nebraska Kearney. With 3 tournaments down, the team has seen 10 total placers and 1 tournament champion. In the latest tournament, the Tigers competed in the Eunice Hospitality Open, hosted by Nebraska Kearney. For the Tigers, the 157 class, Kaysen Lindsley wrestled unattached to the team but earned a runner-up finish. Cade Lindsley, a Tiger, wrestler in the 174 weight class, finished 6th place, but the big story of the tournament was Terrius Henry. The nation's 11th best wrestler in the 197 weight class took home the championship. This Friday, the Tigers will be back on the mats for a triangular against San Francisco State and Colorado School of Mines in Golden, Colorado. That is all we have this week for Tiger Athletics. Stay up to date with all Fort Hays sports and news. Go to tigermedia.com throughout the week. Before I send it back to Liz for more campus news, here's a look at this week's upcoming sporting events.
Teachers today are finding new ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
We know you'll love what you see here on our campus in Hays, America.
With over 200 academic programs, small classroom sizes, and a 96% success rate, we will make sure you get the tools you need to succeed.
We are proud to offer you 120 clubs and student organizations, over 300 different intramural activities, and countless other ways to get involved here on campus.
As the most affordable four-year institution in the entire state, we are excited to offer you the best value in education anywhere. Not to mention our robust scholarship programs to help minimize that stress of paying for college.
We hope you enjoyed Tiger Nation, and we can't wait for you to see yourself here.
Before we get into some local events, here's a quick look at entertainment news from the weekend. It was a good weekend for football fans. Saturday was not only the day of high school state championship games, but it was also game day for K-State and KU in the annual Sunflower Showdown. The Wildcats, ranked number 13 in the nation, ended up winning the highly anticipated rivalry game 47-27. They moved to 19-3 on the season and will play TCU for the Big 12 championship game on Saturday. While the Jayhawks are still eligible to play in a bowl game, this was their third straight loss, and their record drops to 6-6. With their win yesterday against the LA Rams, the Kansas City Chiefs have now won 5 games in a row. This marks the 10th consecutive winning season for the Chiefs, who are 9-2 right now and ranked first in the AFC West. The win is also the 25th in a row for the Chiefs in the month of November and December. And head coach Andy Reid now holds the records for the most wins at Arrowhead Stadium with 65. We have several upcoming events to look forward to this week, but before we get into those, here's a look back at Making Sense of Dinosaurs from TMN reporter Nick McCoy.
The Making Sense of Dinosaurs lecture was an event which took place in the Hays Public Library on November 15th. The event was a presentation spoken by staff of the Sternberg Natural History Museum concerning the various aspects of paleontology. This included, but was not limited to, finding the location to dig for dinosaur bones, to preparing the various bones for museum displays. At the beginning of the lecture, paleontologist Ian Trevathan stated why he chose to give the lecture.
I don't know why it is, but often general audiences tend to think of dinosaurs, dinosaur paleontology, dinosaur museums as a kid thing. And it is not. I mean, it is an everybody thing.
While the event did not amass a large crowd, several library employees were in attendance. This included Jessica Shields, who stated what she found so fascinating about dinosaurs.
The fact that there's these creatures that were ginormous, that lived thousands, millions of years before us, that we just walk over all day is enlightening to me.
This presentation was given with the hopes of educating people on what paleontology is like as a subject, and to show it is not just a subject for kids. With Tiger Media Network, I am Nick McCoy.
Thanks, Nick. The next Making Sense of event will feature Simply Charmed and be at 5:30 p.m. on December 13th. With Thanksgiving over, Christmas will be here before we know it. Get into the holiday spirit tomorrow with Fort Hays student engagement at the annual tree lighting ceremony. The ceremony will take place at the Beach Schmidt Performing Arts Center starting at 5 p.m. The event is open to students and community members to eat cookies, drink hot chocolate, and listen to Christmas carols before the tree is lit. There will also be holiday train rides, pictures with Santa, and a chance to write a letter to Santa. Also happening tomorrow is the annual Christmas open house event at the Plymouth Schoolhouse, located across from Tamanic Hall. The building was originally built in 1874 and moved to campus in 1979. Because it's not open regularly to the public, it has become a tradition to have an open house during the holidays. For over a decade, visitors have been able to learn about the history of the schoolhouse, enjoy refreshments, and listen to carolers. This year, festivities will start at 3 p.m. Speaking of festivities, the Hays Art Council is hosting a popular winter art walk on Saturday. This is an all-day event starting at 10 a.m. and going to 4 p.m. In addition to works from local artists, attendees will also be able to view entries from the 5 state photography competition. In an article by the Hays Post, Art Council Executive Director Brenda Mader said that the competition draws a lot of out-of-town visitors. All the art featured in the event will be located in different shops and restaurants downtown. All of these locations can be found on haysartscouncil.org. And that's a wrap on today's TMNtv News. To stay up to date with the local, state, and national news, visit tigermedianet.com as well as our social media pages. Thank you for watching. I'm Liz Steck, and we'll see you next week for our final show of 2022.